Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Texas Therapist channel. Today, we're here with Monica Altamirano, who's going to tell us about her practice working with children. So, Monica, why don't we kick off our morning today and tell us when do you think a parent should reach out to you for support?
Well, usually it's two things. It's they notice some behavior at home or something is happening at home that the child is misbehaving or not listening, not abiding by the rules of the house. Or at school, there are issues, and the teacher brings, calls the parent, Johnny or Mary is doing such and such. So it's either the in the home front or at school.
And so, Monica, what kind of concerns do you treat? What are the issues that parents are bringing in?
They don't. Many times they don't have a name to it, but it's anxiety. I'm seeing a lot of anxiety. There is some off focus, the ADHD, and that used to be more seen before. But ADHD causes anxiety, and anxiety causes ADHD, so it's a round circle. I also see, issues, social skills issues that the children, have problems at school with friends or bullying, or the teacher, notices the child is not focusing or daydreaming.
So why don't we go to the beginning here, and why don't you tell us what the initial session might look like? So what does it look like when a parent reaches out to you, and how do you set this up?
Well, usually either the father, mostly the mothers, but sometimes fathers call. And, the initial phone call, I tell them, how can I help you? And they tell me, well, we're having issues at home, or we just got a report that the grades have gone down, that Mary's not focusing, whatever. And so I talked to them for about a few minutes, and we set up an initial appointment. My initial appointment not usually, I always try to have the parents first to get the history and to hear both sides. I like both parents in the meeting. Sometimes when they're divorced, I see them by Zoom separately. I try to work it out, but and hear both the dad and the mom telling me that how they're handling things, and help them, give them some ideas how to handle certain situations. The second meeting, I see the child, and I tell the parents that I will call them later, that in front of the child, I'm not going to say anything. So, I see the child, and I try to ease them up, by talking to them a little bit about school or their interests or hobbies, try to relax them. And I do have snacks and games. And so we sit down afterwards to play a game or to build something. And through the games, I can see a lot of issues popping out, like control, or having to win all the time, or letting me win, or, different things. Or with the Legos, they build certain things. And I ask them about it. And that's the way, after that meeting, I call the parents, and without breaking confidentiality, I give them an idea of what's going on. I think that, the issue is about control, how to help them with the control or with the anxiety.
So you're playing with the kids, and it sounds like through the play, you're helping kids understand what's going on with them, helping them define what's going on with them, and giving them a language to describe what's going on.
Yeah, yes, because through the play, they describe their issue or what's causing their anxiety. They try to disguise it, but it is many times, not as often, but it's a little obvious what's going on. So I help them with that. And the important is to put feelings into words, to be able to express it, not for them only to express it to me, but to be able to build the confidence to be able to relay this to their friends or to their teacher, but especially to the parents.
And in that way, it sounds very much like when we work with adults that we really want adults, that one of the ways adults get better is to put feelings into words and to understand what's going on with them. So, but you're doing it through play, which I think is lovely. Now, Monica, as the child moves through the therapy, how do you assess whether a child is making progress?
Well, parents start seeing the change at home. The less aggression or less misbehaving, or at school, they're having more friendships, or they have a special friend that they would like to invite over. So we start seeing changes. What I wanted to say, I do work closely with the parents, the teachers, and myself. It's like a triangle. We're all trying to help the child. So the teacher starts telling the parents that they're noticing the behavior has changed. And in the office, of course, I see it through the game. The game, they're more relaxed. They're having more fun. They're laughing more. They're having a good time. Yes.
So, Monica, take us through how do you assess when the work ends? How do you taper off? How do you go through that process?
Yes, I don't like to, continue this forever and ever. Of course, I cannot. Many parents ask me how many sessions. I cannot tell you how many sessions. Once I'm seeing that the child's self-esteem or their behavior or whatever issue is better, and and I see about in a month that they're coming once a week, and that I see, that things are pretty stable. I start to tell the parents, well, let's try every 2 weeks and taper it off and see how it goes, maybe once a month. And then the parents can many times call me, like some other issue popped up 6 months or a year later, and they come back in for that particular issue. But yes, I like, I when I start sensing that things are under control, that's when we start.
So, Monica, thank you very much for being with us today and imparting your wisdom. I think you gave us a wonderful picture and understanding of what goes on in the therapy with you. And so thank you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.